Hope this is clear. Okay, just have a look. Okay, yeah. I hope this is clear. The videos will be remaining there. Okay. Now, before moving on to the entire respiratory system, this is the picture which I shared. You can either see this or you can observe this. Okay. Now, before moving on to the entire human respiratory system, let us discuss few things about the human respiratory system. Now, the entire human respiratory system is divided into upper respiratory tract and the lower respiratory tract. Okay, upper respiratory tract means everything what is present above the vocal cords. Okay, we all know the larynx is considered as a vocal cord, and in males, you have studied in 8th standard, in males, it has a protrusion, which is called Adam's apple, which makes the male voice deeper. Okay, so the upper respiratory system comprises of, see if I place it here, the nose, pharynx, and larynx. Okay, whereas the lower respiratory system comprises of trachea, bronchi, and lungs. Of course, we'll go in details of every part. Okay, so the respiratory system is divided into two: upper respiratory system, okay, and the lower respiratory system. Okay, upper respiratory system contains nose, pharynx, and larynx. The larynx part, which is above the vocal cords. Okay, whereas the lower respiratory system comprises of the part which is below the vocal cord, that is trachea, bronchi, lungs. Okay, bronchi further divides into many branches called bronchioles, and these bronchioles extend within the lungs, and they have some grape-like minute structures. These are called alveoli. Okay, now if I ask you what are the cells present in the lungs, okay, you may say the alveoli are the cells which are present within the lungs. Okay, near about 480 alveoli per lungs are present in the human body. Here we are only focusing this year on the human respiratory system. Okay, so the entire human respiratory system, as I said, comprises of nose, larynx, okay, pharynx, trachea, okay, lungs, bronchi, okay, bronchioles, and alveoli. Okay, you can even see this particular diagram if you want. Just have a look. Okay, the nasal passage, pharynx, larynx, nasal passage, pharynx, larynx, okay, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, alveoli, the lungs. Okay, and below it is the diaphragm. Okay, now when we talk about respiration, as I already said, there are two particular processes which are involved in this particular mechanism: the breathing and the cellular respiration. Okay, now breathing, as I said, it is a physiological process. There are no biochemical reactions in breathing. There is no exchange of gas which is taking place. Only we are inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Whereas respiration is a particular process which takes place at the deepest, at the cellular level, where exchange of gases takes place by a process called diffusion. Okay, this we'll see in detail. Breathing, it can be voluntary, it can be involuntary. If I am supposed to control my breath, I can control my breath at least for a few seconds or a minute. Okay, but if I am supposed to control respiration, I cannot control the biochemical mechanisms in my body. Okay, I cannot control the movement of respiratory pigments, or I cannot control the whole process. So that is an involuntary mechanism. Okay, so respiration, it takes place at the cellular level. So we specifically call it as cellular respiration. Okay. Now, various steps takes place in respiration, that is glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system or oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, so let's go into the detail of all the parts of the human respiratory system. So these are the parts of the human respiratory system. Okay, nasal passage. Let's take the nasal passage first. Okay, so the nasal passage contains a particular, or simply if I say nose, okay, the nose contains a cavity called nasal cavity. And you know, in this cavity, near about 4 pairs of structures are present, which are called sinuses. Okay, of course, no detail of sinuses. Remember, 4 pairs of cavity is present within the nasal cavity, within the nasal chamber. And these structures are responsible for multiple functions. Okay, it is responsible for the production of mucus. It is responsible for maintaining your voice. Okay, your voice is properly maintained because of these sinuses. Okay, so there are basically 4 pairs of sinuses which are present in the nose or in the nasal region, starting from here, here, this region. Okay, here 4 pairs of sinuses are present. Okay, now the entire nasal region or the nasal passage contains these openings. Okay, you can see these 2 openings which are present. Okay, they are called nostrils. Okay, and these 2 openings are separated from inside with the help of a layer. And that separation, that layer is called as septum. What is it called? Septum. So a septum divides the entire nostrils into 2 structures, 2 openings which are present. Okay, so that's called septum. Now, within this nasal chamber or external nails, okay, there are few structures which are present. First, very important structure, the ciliated structure or the hairs which are present. Okay, you know what is the function of these hairs? Okay, we are continuously breathing air which is polluted. So in that particular air, dust particles are there, pollutants are there, microbes are there. Under normal conditions, what these hairs do, what these ciliated structures do, okay, they do not allow these dust particles, they do not allow these pathogens. Pathogens means disease causing agents. Okay, they are called pathogen. It can be a fungus, it can be a virus, okay, it can be a bacteria, the present situation which we are facing. All right, so that particular pathogen do not enter into the respiratory tract. So these hairs, what they do, they prevent the dust particle pathogens, okay, from entering into the respiratory tract and causing harm to the respiratory tract under normal conditions. Understanding? The cases are different for viral infection. Okay, that we will discuss later on, how a virus affects the respiratory system. Okay, now mucus is present. Okay, this mucus keeps the entire chamber or prevents the entire chamber from getting dried up. Understanding? Okay, whereas blood vessels are also present in this particular region in the nasal passage. Okay, there are blood vessels. Now, what is the function of these blood vessels? The air which enters, okay, through the nose, if that air enters directly into our respiratory system, it may cause harm to the respiratory system. So what is required? Warming up of the air. Okay, so this warming up of the air is done with the help of blood vessels which are present in the nasal passage, nasal chamber. Okay, now just an extra information. When we open our mouth, we see a bell-shaped structure above. Understanding? And a bony structure. Okay, so that bony structure, that is called as palate, okay, which is present in between the nasal cavity and oral cavity. Understanding? And the bell-shaped structure, that is called as uvula. What it is called? Uvula. Okay, so the nasal passage, remember, nasal passage has openings called nostrils. Okay, these nostrils are separated with the help of a septum. Okay, and not only that, getting a call. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, it is separated with the help of a particular septum, a branch. This is septum. These are nostrils. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And they have hairs for protecting the pathogen, dust particles, etc., from entering into the respiratory tract. They have mucus to keep it wet or prevent drying. They have blood vessel to warm the air which enters through the nasal chamber or the passage. Okay. Now, this nasal passage further continues to form a structure, and this particular structure, it is called as pharynx. Okay, pharynx, both the pronunciations are correct. Okay, pharynx. Okay, now pharynx is considered as a common, I can say it's a connecting link between respiratory and digestive system. Okay, we have studied pharynx in detail when we have studied the process of digestion, okay, through the alimentary canal. Okay, so here what happens? The pharynx, here it is required, okay, for the entry of air through the nasal passage. Understanding? Okay, now this particular pharynx further continues to form a structure called larynx. We should not forget that there are two structures which are associated with larynx in between pharynx and larynx, that is glottis and epiglottis. Okay, so this epiglottis, okay, it prevents the air to enter into digestive tract, whereas at the same time it prevents the food from entering into the windpipe. Okay, we have studied epiglottis again in the nutrition part. So because of epiglottis, okay, the air does not go into the esophagus and food does not enter into the pharynx, or it does not go into the remaining part of the respiratory tract. So epiglottis does that. Okay, it prevents the interference of both pharynx and esophagus. Further, the larynx proceeds further to form near about 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilaginous ring-like structures. And the C-shaped cartilaginous ring-like structures are called trachea. Okay, now why these C-shaped ring-like structures are present? Okay, we are continuously inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Okay, so there is no interference or collapse between the air. Why there is no collapse between the air? Because these ring-like structures are present in our trachea. So as the nasal passage takes the air, it goes properly to the pharynx, properly to the larynx, and it moves in a circular fashion all through the trachea. Okay, in a circular way. Why? Because the C-like structures, those ring-like structures are present. And how many rings are present? 16 to 20 ring-like structures are present, which makes the trachea. Isn't it amazing? Okay. Now further on here, I forgot to say one thing, which I have already told. The larynx, okay, it has vocal cords, okay, which is responsible for vibration, okay, of the voice. Of course, sinuses also help, okay, in producing a kind of voice. Okay, now if you hold here, you can try this out with me. If you hold here and if you do like this way, okay, you can see that vibration. You can see the vibration, you can feel that particular vibration over here. Don't push. Okay, you can feel that vibration over here. Okay, so that is because of the vocal cords. Okay, now in males, okay, it is protruded out, okay, showing the masculine feature, that is Adam's apple. It's because of Adam's apple, the male voice is much deeper. Okay, if 2, 3 females are standing together and they are talking together, it is very noisy to hear. Okay, it feels noisy. But then if the males are standing together, it's not as irritating to the ears biologically. Exceptions are there, but biologically I'm talking. Okay, but because male voice is much deeper as compared to the female voice. Why? because of this particular structure called Adam's apple. You yourself can find out the way your mother calls and the way your father calls. It's totally different. And which voice is louder? Of course, you know that. Okay, that's one reason. Because of Adam's apple, okay, the male voice become deeper. Okay, now the trachea further continues to form a hard structure that is called as bronchus. Okay, you will understand that in a better way in this particular diagram. Okay, see this structure. Imagine the trachea continues to form this structure. Okay, this is called bronchus, and this branches of bronchus, okay, they are nothing but they are called bronchioles. Okay, and these bronchioles have air sacs. Okay, sac-like structures, air sacs. Okay, and within these air sacs, there are near about 480 million of the cells, million of the structures which are present, which help in exchange of gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay, one thing. Not only that, it provides surface area for exchange of gases. Okay, and these grape-like structures, okay, they are nothing but they are called alveoli. Okay, and the sac is called alveolar sac. Okay, in some books directly air sac, alveolar sac is given. In some books alveoli is given. Understanding? So trachea further proceeds to form bronchus, bronchus branch out to form bronchioles, the thinner branches, and bronchioles will have air sacs which has alveoli, alveolar sac or air sac which has alveoli. Okay, what is the function of this particular alveoli? It helps in exchange of gases. Okay, not only exchange of gases, it also increases or provides surface area for exchange of gases. Okay, now this, okay, this is what we have studied. Just have a look up till now, then I'll go ahead. Nasal passage, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus, okay, bronchi or bronchus, one bronchus, two bronchi, bronchioles, many bronchioles, okay, branches, air sac, alveoli. Okay, now outer layer of the lungs and the main organ, that is lungs. Okay, now the outer layer of the lungs, both the lungs, okay, it is protected by a particular structure called pleura. Okay, the outer layer, outer protection, that is nothing but it is called as pleura. Okay, and it is containing or it contains a particular cavity called pleural cavity, within which there is a fluid which protects the lungs from external injury, and that is called pleural fluid. Understanding? Okay, so there are two lungs. Whenever you draw a particular diagram, you should imagine yourself, okay, like this in front of the diagram. Okay, like this. Okay, so this becomes the right side and this becomes the left side. So when you label, you have to imagine considering your body in front of that particular, okay, diagram. Okay, yeah, see. So when I consider the two lungs, this becomes the left lung. This is the right lung. How you should do? You should imagine your body like this way. Okay. So when you label, it is exactly opposite when you label it in the paper. Okay. Remember this. Don't make mistake in this. Okay. So here, left lungs, and this is the right lungs. Okay. And the lungs are covered or protected with the help of a structure that is called pleura. Okay. Now these are the ribs which are there, act as a protection, okay, in the thoracic region. Okay, this region, okay, the rib cage region, the shoulder, entire that pectoral girdle region. Okay, the girdle region, that's called pectoral girdle. Okay, so that the ribs are provided, it acts as protection for the organs and give a proper posture to the body. So it forms a part of skeletal system. Okay, sorry. So the left lung and the right lung. Now lungs are also divided into lobes. Okay, the right lung is much bigger as compared to the left lung. Why? Because towards the left side, the heart is tilted towards left side. So in order to provide space for that particular organ, which is a pumping organ, okay, there are certain structures called cardiac impressions. Don't remember, just there are some structures called cardiac impressions, because of which the heart is properly placed and tilted towards the left side, tilted towards the left side. It's not in the left side, from the center towards the left side. Okay, and how much is your heart? Clenched fist. My heart is like my clenched fist, and your heart is like your clenched fist. Okay, so left lung has only 2 lobes, whereas right lung has 3 lobes. And what is present towards right side? If you remember alimentary canal, liver. Understanding is present towards the right side, and left side, the heart is tilted towards the left side. Okay, if I consider the weight of the lungs, it makes up to 1.3 kilograms. Okay, the lung. Okay, and cirrhosis means any breakage in the region of lung is called cirrhosis. Inflammation means swelling. In biology, inflammation means swelling. Okay, so the lung, this is the left lung and this is the right lung. Left lung is divided into 2 lobes, right lung is divided into 3 lobes. Right lung is a little bit, okay, bigger as compared to the left lung, okay, because towards left side heart is tilted, okay, and cardiac impressions, cardiac muscles protect the heart. We will see that in detail in transportation. Okay, so this is the entire structure of the human respiratory system, okay, and the alveoli. Okay, now before moving on to the details, okay, of the structures, let's see 2 processes. Okay, one is inhalation. Okay, that is taking in the air. Which air? Oxygen. From where? From the atmosphere. Who gives it in the atmosphere? Plants. Okay, so from the atmosphere, oxygen is taken. Okay, so that process of taking in oxygen, that is called inhalation. From the body, from the cells, the waste material, that is carbon dioxide, is expelled out, removed out. Okay, what is that process? Exhalation. Now here you can see in this picture, this is the movement of the chest during breathing. Now if you breathe in, okay, there are few organs and few structures which take part in inhalation and exhalation. Here observe in the first picture, see this is a picture of inhalation. Okay, so when you inhale, here what is happening to the entire lung region? Lungs are getting filled up with air, so lungs expand. Okay, here in the second case, exhaling. Okay, exhaling. So when you are exhaling, what is happening? What is happening? The lungs are giving up carbon dioxide. So lungs are empty now. Understanding? Empty means empty as far as air is concerned. Okay, so it's emptying the air. So what happens to it? It contracts. Okay, along with this, have a look, see here, inhalation, the lungs, okay, the lungs expand, okay, and here the lungs shrink, the lungs contract, okay. Now this is a condition of, yeah, this is the condition of the ribs. When you inhale, what happens to the ribs? Ribs are moved out. Okay, when you exhale, the ribs are pulled in. Okay, the ribs go in. So when you inhale, what happens to the ribs? The ribs move up and out. They are pulled out and they move towards upward direction. Okay, when you inhale, okay, diaphragm, which is present below connecting the two Lung surfaces, see, it's present below. This is a diaphragm, act as a support, okay, and also help in the breathing process, okay. Below that, we have already studied digestive system organs. If you remember, stomach, okay, then liver and all that structures, okay. So here during inhalation, okay, the ribs upwards, pulled outward, okay, lungs expand, diaphragm flattens, okay. See here, you can see the picture, the diaphragm is pulled up, okay, the diaphragm is raised up, pulled up, okay, flattens. Whereas during exhalation, the ribs move down and inwards, down and inwards. Lungs, okay, they contract because they are emptying the carbon dioxide, emptying the air, okay. And diaphragm, okay, what happens? The diaphragm, okay, relaxes. Understanding? So there are three structures: ribs, lungs, and diaphragm. And this is the condition of the ribs and diaphragm during the inhalation and exhalation process. Okay. Now, whatever air we breathe in, that air contains oxygen, carbon dioxide, and small amount of water vapor. Whatever air we breathe out, that air also contains oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Whatever air we breathe in, along with oxygen, of course, certain traces of other noble gases are also present. Okay. So, when we inhale the air, okay, the inhaled air has 21% of oxygen. Okay. Now, all of this 21% of oxygen is not sent out. Okay. When we exhale. So, how much percentage of oxygen is, carbon dioxide is sent out? 4% of carbon dioxide is exhaled out. So, how much oxygen is taken in? 21% of oxygen is taken in. Okay. Carbon dioxide send out 4%. Remember like this way. Okay. How much percentage of carbon dioxide is present in the inhaled air? 0.04%. So 21% of oxygen, 0.04% of carbon dioxide, and small amount of water vapor is present in the inhaled air. Okay. In the exhaled air, okay, we think that exhaled air has only carbon dioxide. No, it's not like that. Okay. So when we exhale, certain amount of oxygen is also liberated, and that is 16% of oxygen is liberated to the exhaled air. I'm going slow because this is an important part. Okay. How much percentage of carbon dioxide is exhaled? It is maximum. Okay, inhaled is 0.04, but exhaled is 4%. So maximum carbon dioxide is exhaled because if it remains within the cell, it's not good for the cell. Okay, it is the cellular waste. So it needs to be expelled out. Okay, so how much percentage? 4%. Now here there is one thing to remember. Large amount of water vapor is present in the exhaled air. Inhaled air contain only small amount of water vapor, whereas the exhaled air contain maximum or larger amount of water vapor. Okay, why? Because exhaled air contains maximum amount of moisture, because that is coming out from the body, and through biochemical reactions, okay, when the product is formed, the product form includes water also. Understanding? Carbon dioxide plus water plus energy is released by the cell. Okay, so whatever air is exhaled, that contains moisture, and because of that moisture, the amount of water vapor is maximum in the exhaled air. Okay, so up till now, what all things we have seen? The structure, parts, and the function of respiratory system, that is the nasal passage, larynx, Okay, that's the pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles. Okay, the nasal passage has hair, mucus, and blood vessels. Okay, the larynx, it has vocal cords, Adam's apple in males. Pharynx, okay, it prevents the food from entering into the respiratory system and air from entering into the digestive system. Okay, so if by chance the air enters into the digestive system, it is sent out in the form of a burp, dakar, okay, a burp. Okay, so the trachea, 16 to 20 ring-like structure, C-shaped cartilage. Okay, bronchus, bronchioles possess something which is called as an alveoli. Okay, the alveoli is present within the alveolar sac or the air sac, which helps in exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, it also provides surface area for exchange of gases. How many are present? 480 million alveoli per lungs in an adult individual. Okay, it may differ, so it's not the exact. Okay, it is approximately 480 million of alveoli. In some books, you can see 600 to 800 or 400 to 800. Okay, but near about 480 million alveoli in each lungs. So it makes up to 700 to 800, near about. Okay, yeah. All right. So then we saw the alveoli, that is bronchus, bronchioles, alveoli. Have a look. Okay, then inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means taking in the oxygen, exhalation means giving out carbon dioxide. When we inhale, okay, there are changes in the rib. Okay, there are changes in the muscles which are present surrounding the entire lung region. There is change in the lungs and the diaphragm. Okay, so here it becomes flat when inhalation occurs. Okay, the air is filled into the lungs expand, the ribs are pulled outwards and upwards, and the diaphragm flattens. Okay, whereas when the exhalation takes place, okay, when the air is exhaled, okay, at that time what happens? The lungs shrinks, it's emptying the air, okay, the diaphragm, it's raised little bit, okay, and the ribs are, okay, when the ribs go down, okay, ribs go down. Okay, this much is clear. See the condition of the ribs. Arrow outside means exhalation. Arrow inside means inhalation. Okay. Now concentrate on this particular structure. I've shown this structure also. Okay. Now these alveoli. Okay, these alveolar structures, they are supplied with capillaries. Okay, they have capillaries. Okay, we all know in our smaller classes we have studied all the arteries supply oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Pulmonary means lungs. Understanding? Except pulmonary artery. Okay, Divyanshi, which diagram you want to see? Which diagram you're not able to see? I'll again switch on to the diagrams. Okay. Now are you able to see the diagram? Or is this clear now? All the diagrams are shared in the images. Okay, all the diagrams are shared by me. All right. Yeah. May I? All right. So see, I'm taking this diagram. Here also the same diagram is there. Okay. So see this particular diagram. This is the alveolar region. Okay. This is the alveolar sac. Okay, or the alveoli. This, what is shown, this particular region, that is nothing but the blood capillary. Okay, clear now? Okay, now listen here, listen. Okay, now all the arteries carry oxygenated blood. okay, except the pulmonary artery. Okay, the artery which is connected with the lungs. Pulmonary means lung, hepatic means liver, cardiac, heart, and renal, kidney. Okay, here we are concentrating on pulmonary. Okay, all the veins contain deoxygenated blood except pulmonary veins. Okay, so the blood in pulmonary artery is deoxygenated, and the blood in pulmonary vein, okay, is oxygenated. Usually arteries contain oxygenated blood. Red color is the color given. Usually there is no color like red and blue. The blood is red and deep red in color. Understanding? Okay, but the part of the blood at times contain oxygen, at times carbon dioxide, that we will see in detail along with transportation part. But here you remember that all the arteries contain the blood which has oxygen. Okay, so that is called oxygenated blood, except one artery, that is pulmonary artery, which is associated with lungs. Okay, pulmonary means the region of lungs. Pulmonary word is used for lungs. Pulmonary disorder, pulmonary cirrhosis, okay, pulmonary mechanisms means associated with lungs. Remember, basic thing. Okay, all the veins contain deoxygenated blood, which is without oxygen. Okay, except pulmonary vein. Okay, so the pulmonary vein contains oxygenated blood and pulmonary artery contains deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary artery में deoxygenated blood है जिसके पास ऑक्सीजन नहीं है. ओके okay, और pulmonary vein में oxygenated blood है जिसके पास ऑक्सीजन है. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? एक्सेप्शंस है. यूजुअली आर्टरी में होता है ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड और वेन में होता है डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड, लेकिन पल्मोनरी आर्टरी में है कौन सा ब्लड? डीऑक्सीजनेटेड, और पल्मोनरी वेन में है ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट फॉर बोथ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड रेस्पिरेशन. ओके, नाउ लिसन वेरी केयरफुली. This is the entire structure. Okay, this is the entire structure. This is the alveolar sac and this is the blood vessel. Now inside the blood vessels, okay, blood cells or blood corpuscles are there. And as we know, there are basically three types of blood corpuscles which are present: WBC, RBC, platelets. Okay, okay, blood corpuscles means blood cells. WBC, RBC and platelets. What is the role of WBC? Okay, it is the soldier of our body. Whenever we have any infection, okay, this WBC will increase in number, okay, to a certain level in order to fight that infection. Okay, phagocytosis you have learned in 9th standard. Phagocytosis engulfing macrophages. So WBC क्या करेगा? Okay, बॉडी को इम्यूनिटी देगा. क्यों इम्यूनिटी देगा? क्योंकि बॉडी को फाइट करना है एक इंफेक्शन के अगेंस्ट, तो बॉडी में इम्यूनिटी की जरूरत होती है. तो उस इम्यूनिटी को मेंटेन रखने के लिए WBC क्या करेगा? अपने नंबर को कुछ लेवल तक इंक्रीज करेगा उस इंफेक्शन को कम करने के लिए. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? बहुत ज्यादा इंक्रीज नहीं. Okay, if WBC increase more than 50,000 etc., it's a condition which happens in cancer. Okay, so not that condition. Okay, RBC. Okay, red blood cells have a pigment. Okay, they take up a pigment and that pigment is hemoglobin. Okay, which is a respiratory pigment which gives red color to the blood. Okay, so what is happening here? This red dots which I have shown, that is nothing but the red blood cells. Okay, so through the pulmonary artery, okay, the blood is entering into this particular blood vessel, the capillary. Okay, this is the blood capillaries. So pulmonary artery say the blood is coming into the capillary. Okay, okay, so the alveolar sac is also supplied with capillaries. Okay, across the membrane, across the capillary and the alveolar region, alveolar sac. surface of alveoli, diffusion takes place. Okay, now what is diffusion? Movement of material particle from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Okay, let me make it very clear. Now, did you see this particular diagram? Okay, in this diagram, here particles are maximum. Okay, so here majority is there, and this side the particles are very less, minority. Okay, and there is a membrane in between, and this membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane means it allows the passage of some materials. Okay, so across the membrane, here maximum, where maximum particles are there, okay, from the maximum region, that is region of higher concentration, okay, the particles will move across the membrane to the region of lower concentration. Okay, so this mechanism is called diffusion. So across the surface region of alveoli and the capillary and blood capillary, what is taking place? Diffusion is taking place. How? Okay, within the alveoli, oxygen is maximum. Okay, so oxygen alveolar sac में, alveolar region में maximum है. Okay, blood capillaries में right now. Okay, what is maximum? Carbon dioxide is maximum. Okay, so exchange of gases takes place. How carbon dioxide is maximum? Pulmonary artery is bringing deoxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood में oxygen will be lesser, carbon dioxide will be maximum. Okay, carboxyhemoglobin will be maximum and oxyhemoglobin will be lesser. Okay, so from the capillary across the region, carbon dioxide will move to the alveoli. Okay, and alveoli में there is oxygen. From where did oxygen come? We inhaled the gas. When we inhaled the gas, when we inhaled the air, oxygen entered through the nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchiole, and entered into the alveoli. Understanding? So in the alveoli, concentration of oxygen is maximum. Okay, and in the blood vessel, concentration of oxygen is lesser. So diffusion from the region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So oxygen kahan jayega? Oxygen will go into the capillary, into the blood capillary. So blood capillary mein who will take the oxygen? Red blood cells will take the oxygen. Understanding? Red blood cells will take this oxygen where it will take through pumping mechanism through the bloodstream. It will go to the heart. Okay, so heart ko oxygenated blood mil gaya. Understanding? Are you getting me? Remember this? Its remaining part we will see when we see the structure and pumping of heart. Okay, so air entered into the alveoli. Now alveoli has oxygen, maximum oxygen. So diffusion occurs. Oxygen is given to the into the blood capillaries. Red blood cells will take that particular oxygen and will push it, move along with the bloodstream to the heart. Heart will pump it to different parts through aorta, the largest artery. Okay. Now, in the blood capillary, through the pulmonary artery, what is present maximum? Carbon dioxide is present maximum. Okay. Now, this carbon dioxide concentration is maximum in the capillary and lesser in the alveoli. So, what will happen? Diffusion will take place from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So, the carbon dioxide will reach from the blood capillary into the alveolar sac. Okay, okay, बाहर निकालना है इस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को. अगर वो बाहर नहीं निकला तो वो सेल को डैमेज कर सकता है, बिकॉज इट इज द सेल्यूलर वेस्ट. सो उसको किसी भी तरीके से बाहर निकालना जरूरी है. and this is the body's normal natural mechanism. Okay, so this carbon dioxide will reach the alveoli. From the alveoli, it will reach the bronchiole. From the bronchiole, it will reach the bronchus. From the bronchus, it will reach the trachea. From trachea, larynx, pharynx, and either through the nose or through the mouth, it is expelled out. This is the whole process and mechanism of respiration. Understanding? Okay, so across the alveolar sac and the blood vessel, exchange of gases takes place. Okay, exchange of gases takes place by which process? By the process of diffusion. Now, there was a question by many students, what happens to the lungs? What is inflammation? And what happens when a viral infection or bacterial infection affects? Okay, the present scenario itself we can take into consideration. No need to specify the names. Okay, so if any viral or bacterial infection or any pathogenic infections occur, okay, what happens basically? It causes inflammation in the lungs. It causes inflammation in the alveoli. Inflammation means swelling. Alveoli means swelling ho jata hai. Okay, and when alveoli swell up, the lungs get filled up with fluid. Okay, and when the lungs get filled up with fluid, the exchange of gas is an impossible condition. There won't be any exchange of gas that occurs. Okay, and the person may suffer from lack of oxygen and may experience suffocation. Understanding? Okay, so in today's class, what all things we learned? We learned the part of upper respiratory system and lower respiratory system, the entire glycolysis mechanism, that is breakdown of glucose. Okay, the human respiratory system, structure of alveoli, exchange across alveoli, inhalation, exhalation, condition of ribs, diaphragm and lungs during inhalation and exhalation. Okay, this I will take in the next class. Okay, yeah. So in the next class, we are going to study what are the respiratory disorders, okay, which are possible, and how can respiratory disorders be prevented, along with the introduction for transportation. Okay, I hope this is clear, and I'm connecting the earphone. So if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. Give me a minute.